Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Christian Gonzalez. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I practice out here in Los Angeles. In today's episode, we are talking about everything from rituals to hormones to mindset to overall health, anything that you need as far as mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical knowing and how to better ourselves every single day. This is Dr. G, and I am listening to Ever Forward Radio.
Dr. G, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on,
Thank
making the time here. And yeah, the audience is really going to get to know you a lot more. I'll share a lot more in the full-blown intro here. But just you, who you are, naturopathic physician, very much fully immersed in the health and wellness world, whatever that means these days. It's very open-minded. I just want to ask a couple questions to kind of get us right out of the gate. You talked to me this morning about getting started on your own time and taking care of yourself first. Morning rituals, habits for success. I think people are very curious about what was your ritual this morning? What typically is a ritual for you to kind of get the day started?
Yeah, so what I preach a lot to patients and clients throughout time has been the importance of me time and rituals.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, hey, get on the supplement regimen and start eating this, right? But it's hard to break habits. It's hard to break subconscious programs. So when you take that time for yourself, it really puts you in a place where the other dominoes fall because you start getting in touch with yourself. By getting in touch with yourself, hopefully that starts opening the door to being like, you know what, I love myself a little bit more than I thought. Let me treat myself a little better. Let me not eat this crap every single day, because there's always a root cause to really poor dieting or just all these habits that don't serve people. So for me, rituals have been part of my life for the past 3 years, and it's very important for me to do the rituals. I cannot start my day without the rituals, nor can I bookend or close my day. So I take about 2 hours to 3 hours in the morning. And I know some people can't.
A hell of a morning routine.
Yeah.
Most people are like, I got 30 seconds that are going to set your day.
I know. And some people can, and that's fine. But I say, how much time do you take? At least 15 minutes, 30 minutes?
Anytime.
Yeah. And I know there's even single moms who are like, I have kids, I have to run around. I go, well, do you take a shower? Take 15 minutes in the shower and have that time to yourself. But for me, I always have to move my body in the morning. So I'll come up to the front and
yes. What's the first thing? Let's walk us through. You wake up, you come out here.
Yeah. So I wake up and I have like this oral hygiene routine where I tongue scrape, I use a wash, an oil wash, right? That's been shown to reduce the pathogenic bacteria in the mouth, right? That cause cavities. So I do the oil wash, and then I tongue scrape, and then I brush, and then I'm feeling good. And for me, music is very important. It is the harmony. It's a thing that brings my vibration up. So I need to have music. Some people need quiet. I need music to get everything going. So I'll put on music at that point. Then I'll come outside. For me, it's important to get out to the sun within 12 to 15 minutes between waking up and moving out.
That's been a new one for me. We can talk more about that in a little bit, but not to interrupt you, but that's been a new addition to kind of my morning routine when I can.
You got to get that sun, and we'll talk about what it does with cortisol. But for me, my eyes need to hit the sun. Thank God the sun is always coming up around the time.
Beautiful day here in Venice. It's very rare when it's not.
and we're afforded luxury to be here in LA where we do get the sun, but it's still okay if you're living in Nebraska, so long as your eyes are hitting that light.
Right.
You don't need the sun glaring out on you. Then I do some movement. I move every one of my joints. It's not like when I was 25. I'm 35 now, and now I feel it. But I'm like, okay, I got to move my joints.
It's almost more of a need to at this point. Yeah, I'm 34, and so like when I skip a week of yoga or like I skip out on the stretching and mobility, it's not so much a luxury anymore.
It's not. We were just moving around all limber when we were young, but not anymore.
Like a bunch of young a-holes.
Yeah. One thing new that I added to my ritual was Aaron, our mutual friend, who has the Align podcast. He was always preaching about hanging, and so I got like the pull-up bar.
Okay.
And I put it in the front door, and I hang it up, and I hang for about a minute and a half, 30-second increments.
Yeah. So are you upright? Are you inverted?
No, just upright. Okay. Just hanging because, one, it's been helping my posture a lot.
Yeah.
And two, it opens up my chest.
Yeah.
And three, it just also gets the laxity going, everything moving around your body.
You just think about it for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. We're like this.
Hell yeah.
We're horizontal.
Exactly.
We don't have gravity working for us in this case for a lot of natural processes and loops that the body does internally.
Yeah, for sure. So you open it up, cerebral spinal fluid is moving, plus adding the joint moving. I just like getting my energy moving.
Yeah.
And I'll drink water. I'll have about a liter of water or half a liter of water before I head out to the beach, but I drink water. It's so important. We're most dehydrated in the morning.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's pretty incredible for me who people's first drink is a big cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Which is actually helping dehydrate you.
I got mine now, but we're hours into the day and lots of water later for sure.
Yeah. I know you're doing it right. So then at that point, I just walk to the beach. I put on my headphones. I make a playlist that I know is my vibe. So it might be like dance music, or it might just be like slow Motown music, something that is my vibe that day.
Whatever you're feeling.
Whatever I'm feeling. For me, the most special part of my rituals happen when I'm at the beach. But you don't need to walk to the beach. You can do it in your room.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I need to go to the beach because grounding is really important for me. There's science behind grounding, right? You're a conduit to these negative electrons coming in your body, and Earth is layered with it. So grounding on any surface, dirt, snow, sand, is powerful. So getting to the beach, automatically grounding. I get to the shoreline and I do visuals, like what I want to visualize for the day and my life, and gratitude, and then affirmations. So every affirmation I say is I am, speaking like literally it's here. So I am on a great podcast right now. You know what I mean? Like I speak as if it's already there.
They must love you at Cafe Gratitude. You're already speaking the language.
Yeah, I got to Cafe Gratitude. I was like, man, I should open up this place years ago.
I'm a walking franchise already.
Yeah, I'm a walking franchise. I'll call it, I'm the franchise when I'm working. That's what I say. But that's very important for me. And then I do Wim Hof breathing.
Okay, cool.
I need to get, and it's actually been pretty helpful for me to do that Wim Hof breathing. It's been really helpful because I know that I'm a shallow breather. And we all do that, right? But when we shallow breathe, we're activating our sympathetic all day.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we feel so good when we take 10 deep breaths, right? The parasympathetic is being activated.
That was something that Aaron and I touched on the last time he was on the show, was really looking at how breath highly, highly influences posture and how it highly, highly influences the body's ability or inability to latch on and hold on to situations and tension and stress and stuff, and just how the simple measure of, am I doing that, or am I...
Yeah, exactly. Just holding it.
Not to be creepy, breathing into everybody's microphone, but you know, it's amazing.
And it's true. And we actually had a biological dentist on my show, one of the first guys who came on, and he said very specifically, your bones move and your muscles, you know, accommodate that based on how you're breathing.
Really?
So literally your body moves to accommodate breathing. So if your posture is crappy, right, your bones are going to over time start moving like this to accommodate your airways to open up.
Think about that, especially for maybe the young listeners. If your body's literally still growing, if you're late teens, early 20s even, you know, if you're setting these postural patterns off of your breath, you don't even realize, I mean, you're literally setting your future mold in a way.
Your future mold, exactly.
Yeah.
And we can do that. So for me, that was a big problem of mine because I was always like on the computer doing work. So working out, one, like getting my back a lot stronger, and then those hangs, opening up my shoulder girdle and my chest have been so helpful for my posture. Believe it or not, like the posture was like, and then you're on your phone. I'm always on Instagram putting things up. So Aaron was actually really instrumental in bringing that consciousness and being like, yo, man, like, you got to get it together. I'm like, you're right. I'm going to get it together. That's all you need to say.
Duly noted.
So, and then I come back and I sit down. Once I'm back home, I finish the other half of the water. I sit down, I close my eyes, what I want to create for the day, and then clean up my space. It's very important for me to have a clean room every day.
Shout out my wife. She does all that for me.
I'm
like, I'll get to it later, and she's tidying up.
Yeah.
Me, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, but when my girlfriend is here, she's always the one tidying up the space, and it's like impeccable. I'm like, why can't I do it like this? There's just something innate in her that. But anyway, and I take a cold shower.
Okay.
Which is kind of painful sometimes because some days if I sleep like crap, and my body's just like running on fumes, that cold shower is painful.
Yeah. But
then today I felt pretty good. But there's nothing like when you come out of that cold shower, like
full blown.
It's full blown.
Like how long is that? Like,
well, I'll do a quick one.
Okay,
I'll take a quick, it'll be like 3-minute cold shower,
which is great productivity hack. You know, take a cold shower, wake yourself up, and save time.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I don't drink coffee because I can't.
Okay.
I metabolize coffee very slow, and it doesn't get out of my system for a long time. So that's my coffee.
Interesting.
I'm awake and I'm good to go, but at night, I'll do the contrast hydrotherapy. So I'll do hot and then cold, and then cold. So I'll do like 1 minute hot, 30 seconds cold, 1 minute hot, 30 seconds cold, and then always in and cold. I do 3 rounds, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But that stimulus, and I'm sure you've had someone speak about this on your show because like this is
huge. A little bit,
and,
sure, yeah.
But that stimulus is so important for me. It's a nervous system, right? Activating, balancing the parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system.
The yin and the yang.
Yeah, and then at night I meditate. At night is always my meditation, like 20 minutes, and maybe I put on all my Himalayan lamps, no light, stimulus, and then read a little bit, and I'm good. That's it. That's my rituals. But that me time, I'd be a crazy man without it. Yeah, and I actually was a crazy man without, like a few months ago, because I skipped on my rituals. Like if they were inconsistent, I had so much anxiety, because the stuff we do, man, like just even prepping for a podcast and getting guests in here, along with like other jobs, other stuff we do. I know you're involved in other things, so am I. It can really start wearing you down. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I was going to ask you even before you brought that up. When did you know, or when did you begin to do these things? When did you know that, all right, I need more out of my life, I need more out of my day, I want to do something? Because with your background, being a naturopathic physician, being aware of how the body works, how the body moves, and the things necessary to optimize that, are part of your foundation, part of your training, part of your interest. But I'm pretty sure they don't teach morning rituals, evening rituals in med school, in naturopathic school, and things like that. So there had to have been a moment, a catalyst where like I need more out of my day, need more out of my life. What was that?
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah, I was actually dating this health coach.
Oh, no way! Shout out health coaches.
Shout out health coaches. Yeah, and she was doing it with all her clients, and she's like, Chris, I was talking about how I'm having trouble like meditating every single day or keeping it consistent.
Yeah.
Right. But she like looked, and she's like, Christian, you wake up, you shower, you go make something to eat, and then you leave. And she's like, why don't you start carving out?
Sure.
And I did it, and I did it for a week, and I was like, holy shit.
Like make micro times in the times you're already doing for yourself anyway. Yeah.
And what she was telling me about is like habit stacking. So I was like, well, how am I gonna like make this a habit? So basically what I was doing is like, okay, if I'm going to get up, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes and then brush my teeth. So all the things that are necessary in my morning, like brushing my teeth, for some folks, taking a shower always, making coffee for some folks, then you stack those things that you want to do before and after, and it becomes a lot easier. So it became a habit after like 2 months easily.
Amazing.
And it never went away after that, the habit stacking. But that was the point where I was like, and I'm so indebted to her. Like I tell her thanks like every other week because of the power of what it was. And she said, Christian, like it'll bring awareness to you, and it does. It brings awareness to your body, your habits, your self-sabotaging thoughts that we all tend to have. But it also empowers you as you start seeing your words and visualizations and affirmations come to fruition materially. And when you see that materially, you're like, well, holy shit, am I creating a lot of this? and then you realize you're totally...
Am I a wizard?
Yeah. You figure out you're totally driving the car. Yeah. You're driving this life, You can't call a flat tire, but you can certainly call the way you react to it. So I was like, oh, well, damn, I'm one more peaceful, more empowered, and I'm able to like literally be like the first-hand game player of my life, which is incredible. And that's why I preach it to people.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a health coach. And anybody in the whole healthy habit behavior change world, it's because that's really, when I think back to any goal, any weight loss, any nutrition, any whatever that I was working on with a patient or client, depending on the environment, it all came down to that same origin point, that same start. It was us bringing up, whether it was ego, whether it was whatever, just coming up with excuses as to why I can't do these things, or why I can't have this life that I want, or why I can't feel the way that I want, or why I can't get this promotion or whatever. But when we take a step back, it sounds like that's what she did with you, is to all right, look at what you're already doing, and let's just, take 30 seconds. Shorter or longer, and let's make some more you time. What was probably your biggest eye-opener in realizing that, wait a minute, I actually do have the time here, it's just me deciding that I don't want to make time for it?
Yeah, the biggest eye-opener was when she spoke about the habit stacking, and to literally do these rituals around things that I was doing already in the mornings. Something had to suffer. And what's
usually a little bit of give and take.
It's give and take. Yeah. And it was my time on the phone. And I was like, well, damn, like, it was such a productive change, because I was on my phone that like the night before so the 40 minutes I'd be on my phone before bed, I was like, all right, well, I got to
like
wake
just
up.
like scrolling through
Doing
social media,
stuff,
email.
mindless stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, well, why don't I just shut my phone off earlier? Which she said. She's like, Christian, an hour before bed, turn off your phone.
Yeah.
I was like, turn it off. So then I was
I'm
getting
offended.
Yeah, I was like, what do? My rituals were to be on the phone.
Yeah.
So
I already have a ritual.
I know that is
Instagram.
my ritual. Yeah, exactly. So turning it off for an hour and then getting to bed at an appropriate time, cut off that just mindless scrolling. That transferred to the morning. So that was
okay.
like that was sort of the give and take that happened for me. I was like, well, look, it was productive because I was doing something that wasn't for me really.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it was like kind of relaxing, but it still wasn't relaxing. You know,
Yeah.
it's just weird.
Yeah.
And then doing it in the morning, it was something transferring that energy and productivity. The morning was really powerful because I go, whoa, I'm actually getting something out of it.
Yeah. And that's what I like when we look at creating healthy habits, creating these little rituals, whether you say, hey, I want to build a morning ritual or an evening ritual, they tend to kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. For me, I noticed sleep for me is king, and it really has become king of my wellness hierarchy personally. So when I began to kind of improve my sleep, make a more devoted nighttime ritual, whether it was just the time I went to bed, the lights, blue light blocking lenses, lavender essential oil, reishi, diving deeper into, all the things. But whatever it started with, I noticed that when I reaped the rewards of that, I would get a better night's sleep. I would wake up. Well, when I would get a better night's sleep, I would wake up more naturally. I would begin to wake up a little bit earlier and earlier, more naturally. Or even if I had to set an alarm, I was more rested. I wasn't just jumping up and just freaking out and slamming my alarm clock off. But what I'm saying is, like, it rippled over into the morning. It rippled over into the morning ritual because I then found myself in a better headspace, having more energy, more focused, having more time. So then, okay, well, let me kind of fill this time now. And the same goes vice versa. I think if you focus on a morning routine, morning ritual, well, you're going to be setting yourself up for success. You're going to be more optimized and hopefully more rested, or getting into a more rested state in the evening so that you then build an evening ritual. Did you find that to be kind of true when you focus on one, it also kind of stacked the other?
Yeah, 100%. If it's like that snowball effect, right? So you do a little bit in the morning, you're already set for your day. So really the stuff throughout the day that would unnaturally give you anxiety, right, that you would react to, that would leak over into your late evening and then through the evening and then mess up your sleep, all of a sudden you're in a better place where you can take that and persevere through that. So for me, it's like the morning's done. During the day, I have my own, like, I'll do yoga during the day sometimes, or my workout sometimes. There's something that I'm always doing. Yeah. It's like I follow this pattern where I go, okay, like, I'm in a good place after the morning, I'm in a good place in the afternoon, and then come bedtime, I'm wrapping up, integrating all of that stuff. But again, like, I draw a hard line. I say no phone for at least an hour before bed. And that's game changing for me because I'm like, well, if I don't have my phone, what am I left with? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, my thoughts for the day, the way I reacted to that email.
That's it. I think most people are like, oh, I'm going to be alone with myself.
Which is difficult.
It's going to be me and my thoughts, which is like a whole other podcast.
It is.
The inner reflection work after that.
It is. But and that actually has been my biggest work over the years is the time with myself. I found myself needing, as an extrovert, the company of friends, girlfriends, whatever it is, and it was like wild that I was leaning on that. Yeah. And it hit me one time when I was alone, and I was like, okay, who can I talk to throughout the night? Like, what conversations can I have? And then I was like, why am I being neurotic? What is going on? Yeah.
So why am I not good enough?
Exactly. Why am I not good enough for my exactly?
Yeah.
So I turned it off in that very moment. It wasn't even night. It was like early night. It was like 5 or 6. It was like 6 o'clock, and I turned it off. And I was like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable. What do I do? Maybe I'll turn on Netflix. And I was like, nope, I'm going to close that. I'm like, shit, what do I do? How do I distract myself? And then I just started writing. Yeah. But that was cathartic. Yeah. That's what my body was needing. I felt it in my body, how psychologically I was influencing myself. So my body was like, just do something right, do something. And it's been important work. That's my work, man. Being alone is like sometimes difficult, but it's actually sacred too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the power of rituals, the power of habits, whether it's as long and drawn out, I mean, that's even unfair to say. Like, it is everything you need it to be for you, and mine is everything I need it to be for me. And a lot of people, I'll make an assumption here, but I'm sure you probably heard this. Well, I don't have that same luxury. I don't have that same amount of time. I can't not turn on my phone until noon. I can't do all these things. I mean, again, these are excuses. There are so many things. There's a thing at least that someone can do right now to give themselves 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And like to the busy mom or the single dad or whoever, you know, you were mentioning earlier, imagine if you gave them a gift every day, like if I just had 30 seconds of peace and quiet, mm-hmm. if I just had a minute of me, 30 seconds longer in the shower, or getting up 10 minutes earlier to just have that you time, mm-hmm. That's powerful. And I think it's something that goes overlooked when we look at the whole well-being, wellness model for someone.
Yeah. For when I'm on the beach, I do my gratitude, affirmations, and visualizations all within 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't take that long, you know, and sometimes when like I know I'm in the rush or like I needed to wake up super early, I'll stack it, I'll go in the shower and I'll do it at the same time. I'll do my visualizations, affirmations, gratitude there.
Walk us through there actually, because life happens, right? Mm-hmm. Life happens when I'm sure maybe your schedule needs to get deviated. So what does someone do who has such a dialed in, meticulous morning routine and evening routine? How do they respond when life happens to their routine?
Yeah, well, I certainly don't touch my phone.
Okay.
I found that touching my phone first thing in the morning has been the most sabotaging thing. By taking that time in the morning and not touching my phone, I'm already cutting off screen time during the day or in the morning and at night. So it's overall cutting down the screen time. But, you know, sometimes I'm like, damn, like I need to get like, part of my ritual is going to get good sleep. You know, I can't get 6 hours of sleep to sacrifice 2 hours of rituals.
Right.
So for me, I'll dial it down.
Okay.
So I'll just put it all together. If I got to shower every morning, or if I'm going to get out of the house, I have to shower. That's me. So in the shower, you know, I'll multitask, clean myself up, but I'll also do out loud gratitude, out loud affirmations. And maybe when I'm brushing my teeth, I'll just do visualization, how
ritual
I want to start
stacking.
my day. Yeah, ritual stacking. What I used to do a lot was
self-care stacking even.
Yeah. Do a lot of those in my car too. So like as I'm driving to something, I won't turn on the music. I won't take any calls, and I'll finish everything up in the car.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like my short-term hack for it. I don't have every single morning. That's like sort of my non-negotiable, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah. A lot of times it doesn't work, you know.
Yeah. So that's the way that I sort of like deviate. But again, if you make coffee in the morning, you know, you're making coffee and, you know, you're making food for the kids ready to get ready. You hear them, like, you can be present making a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally, it doesn't have to be like everyday gratitude, affirmations. The whole point of it is being present.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And literally, you know, you can be present doing anything.
Yeah.
You could be present peeing in the morning.
Yeah.
Just pay close attention to your pee and the sounds and all the senses that it's stimulating. So that's really powerful.
Yeah. Which actually, oddly enough, interesting segue. A lot of your area of expertise you were sharing with me is for women's health, it's, you know, breast health, breast cancer, right? Focusing on that. And for men, it's prostate. Being aware and listening to your stream of peeing in the morning can probably maybe be a first screen test for prostate health, right?
Yeah,
we'll go with that. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you certainly want to make sure that you have a normal stream. It's not changing. You want to make sure there's no blood, and you want to make sure that it's not overly bubbly, right? You don't want to be peeing out protein. That could be an issue with your kidneys. It could be an issue with your bladder. It can be an issue with your prostate. So it's something to look for. You know, you pee every day. So there's a lot of
hopefully.
So there's a lot of good signs that we can see through there. But yeah, just that's one thing. But for prostate and breast, really, it's so important to pay attention to our hormones. Mm-hmm. And hormones are modulated by so many things. But one of the big parts I talk about is environmental stuff, the stuff that we're putting into our body.
Yeah.
Our hormones can be really affected by that stuff.
How so?
Well, there's endocrine disruptors, right? So plastic is a major one, right? It mimics estrogen in the body. So for folks who are predisposed to prostate cancer, women who are predisposed to breast cancer,
meaning
and/or
what?
just everyone.
Just like 1 degree in your family?
Yeah. So like say your mom or dad had it.
Yeah.
Then that's a big. We'd certainly need to be very vigilant of staying away from plastic materials. But even if you're not, 90% of these cancers, like as a rule of thumb, 90% are going to come whether or not you have family history.
Okay.
It's that epigenetic power that we have. So, and epigenetics means just like the modulation of DNA to express these certain proteins based on the stuff that's going inside of our bodies, plus our thoughts, all that internal stress. That's basically the genes that we can control.
Yeah.
So hormones, man. And it's like, how do we balance our hormones? Well, thank God you talked about at the top of your hierarchy, sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep
Number
is
one.
like literally, aside from staying away from plastics and all those hormonally dense foods, sleep is so important, man.
Yeah.
Especially for us guys, our testosterone, that's when we need it. Our testosterone is going to be like a ping pong ball in one of those arcade games if we're not sleeping well.
It's so funny you mentioned that because I was actually halfway joking with my wife recently, and she's a registered nurse. She's almost done with her nurse practitioner program.
That's good.
And so we always bounce, health stuff off of each other. And I was like, hey, I need your professional opinion here. Do you think I should get my testosterone checked? Because I know a fair enough amount about it to know like red flags and signals, hey, maybe when it's dipping kind of things. And I'm just getting brutally honest. Like, look, I'm 34 now. And I just feel like my motivation level for me to go train, to go to the gym and stuff over the past, I'd say 6-8 months has been way less, way. Like before was no question. Like it's not even a question that's going to happen. But lately, and she kind of walked me off the ledge a little bit. She's like, no, like look at this. Let's just like, life is busy. We've been traveling, business stuff. And so like I've had to kind of reprioritize my activity instead of like 5-6 days a week. It's 3 to 4 tops really. Yep. And she's like, you're good. I was like, no, I think my testosterone is all messed up. But I was like, well, I know my sleep is still good because that really doesn't change. I get a good amount of like healthy fats and stuff in my diet, and I have all these other things. And so I was just like, am I just really getting old and my T is dropping like crazy? I was like, can you write me a script? She's like, no, you're good.
You want a shot, huh?
Excuse me, yeah.
Dude, aside from, and listen, your wife might be completely right because aside from the sleep, it's the stress hormone, which sort of brings us back to the cortisol in the mornings. Stress is the other wildfire for our testosterone. And in the context of prostate cancer, and I know you got a lot of men who listen to the show, it's actually never, ever too early to start taking care of our prostate.
Interesting. Okay.
Ever. Because really prostate cancer, the majority of men are going to get it. We die.
That's a scary stat.
I'll go back and say this.
Sure.
When we die, we may die of other causes. And they'll find prostate cancer if they did an autopsy.
Really? Wow.
So a lot of men, when I say that, aren't going to die of prostate cancer.
But it's present.
Interesting. The part of it, which I always preach, is that our habits throughout our life really manifest how aggressive it is when we get older.
Yeah.
Right? Plus some genetics and everything. But really our habits throughout life is going to really be protected if we pass away one day from something else other than prostate cancer.
Which really goes back to kind of the epigenetics point earlier. We're predisposed to a lot of things in life, but we're also like seemingly negative, health challenging things, but we're also predisposed to a lot of positive things. When we're born, we're given a semi kind of script of how we're going to turn out in the world, what we're going to look like, our health, our wellness, our height, our weight, a lot of different things, but there's power knowing that we can kind of manipulate that. And it's just as powerful as a catalyst can be of a morning ritual or a good night's sleep to improve our health. There can be one little thing that just sets it off and, actually, boom, that thing that was hiding underneath, the surface is now rising to the top.
And we didn't even talk about the physiological changes of what like a morning routine does. But But so when we talk about coming out and seeing the sun or seeing light within waking up, that's the cortisol awakening response. That shoots up our cortisol in the morning like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, cortisol going up, melatonin coming down.
Melatonin coming down and vice versa at night. But when we start training our bodies evolutionarily like we were supposed to, where we see light early on and then the sun goes down and our bodies goes, oh, the sun's going down, melatonin. By looking at that light, it starts stimulating that circadian rhythm to balance over time. So it's pretty interesting. I find if I'm looking at the sun every morning for a week, then come the weekend, if I sleep past that time, my body's still waking me up at that time.
Absolutely.
And that's the routine. Our body needs consistency and routine. That's protected because I mentioned that cortisol is a huge forest fire when it comes to our hormones, particularly us guys, testosterone, right? So we need to balance those hormones. Again, those rituals are reducing stress, right? If you're meditating, we know that's proven to reduce stress. If you're doing yoga, that's part of your rituals, reducing stress. Wim Hof breathing, just breath work, reducing stress. We need stress reduction.
Taking his walk as little as 10 to 12 minutes a day.
10 to 12.
Yeah.
Or doing something ask yourself in the morning, like, okay, what do I love? Some people may love dancing. Some people may love drawing. Some people may love writing poetry. Some people may love doing push-ups. I don't care what it is, but making sure your mornings and nights are stacked with things that you love is going to be naturally reducing that stress.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough how to reduce stress and how important it is to
the
have
irony
that
of it all. Yeah.
Because it's wild, man. And again, that's huge when it comes to our testosterone. So sleeping well, making sure you're reducing your stress, movement, exercise, we know that helps. So for prostate cancer, the big, conventionally we look at it and we say, okay, lots of testosterones, we got to get them on androgen deprivation therapy, meaning reduce their testosterone and
avoid soy milk.
and then we'll keep them healthy.
Yeah.
But really, when it comes to how aggressive prostate cancer is and prostate cancer coming back and developing, we really need to look more at estrogen, right, in men. What is affecting our estrogen? So low testosterone over time is a bigger problem than having higher amounts of testosterone. Okay. And this was echoed by like one of the best prostate cancer doctors that I know in New York when he was on my show, Dr. Ralph Esposito. He was saying the same things, and it's true. So we need to worry about how to keep our testosterone robust rather than worrying about it being too high. Yeah. More importantly, we need to look at our estrogen, and if we are having those xenoestrogens affect our overall hormones. Xenoestrogens in plastic. If you're eating a ton of dairy, certainly high-fat dairy, cheese, butter, those are xenoestrogens. They have the steroid hormone in there. Okay. That's affecting our hormones. And then we think about, which I love, environmental science, what's in our home. So if we go...
I was just watching an IGTV video of yours recently. I guess video is redundant. IGTV on the overwhelming amount of chlorofluorocarbons
in the beds,
CFCs, indoors versus outdoors and stuff like that.
Yes.
Or volatile compounds and things like that.
Huge difference. So they find actually like sometimes even 10 or 100 times more in the house versus outside, which is why I always talk about open. You see, all my windows are open in my house. Yeah. There's always a breeze. The door is usually wide open in the front. But for me, it's like, what are you bringing into the home? We don't think about these things because in the 80s we didn't talk about it. Growing up, no one talked about it.
Nobody talked about anything in the 80s.
Nobody talked about anything in the 80s.
You don't talk about how you feel.
It's true, exactly. Now things are changing. The awareness is here, but like, what are we bringing into our home? Especially if you have kids. Kids are most susceptible. So what happens is a kid starts developing asthma, respiratory issues, eczema, sinus issues, and then
allergies, sensitivities, everything. Yeah.
Their allergist says, okay, look, it might be the pollen in the air. Without you knowing, it might be the couch. It might be the new rug that you're buying, right? Because all of these things do a phenomenon called off-gassing. There's these chemicals that break down and they off-gas, and we breathe them in. Yeah. And babies, especially being low to the ground and always putting their hands in their mouth, they're more susceptible than anything.
They're doing this to everything. They're doing it, everything. Releasing all this stuff.
Releasing it and then breathing it in. But even folks like us, like adults who are robust and healthy, we're still sleeping on a bed for 8 hours. And I talk about beds because we do, and it's in a living environment. We get hot, we get cold. Yeah. That changes in temperatures, releases, doesn't release. We sweat, that exchange. There's changes that happen. And I did a whole show on beds for this reason, is because throughout time we're being exposed to these flame retardants, these chemicals. And a huge investment, a really good investment for yourself, a huge investment for your health would be just to change the bed. Because you're not sleeping on the couch every day. You're not sleeping on a rug every day, but you're certainly on a bed.
Most of us are, probably, at least.
Yeah, so the whole show was on teaching people how to buy a good bed.
Yeah.
And that was the Heal Thyself show, my show. A GOTS quality bed, cotton bed, organic latex or wool, organic wool, and let that just do better with that for folks, because we have to think about, and the reason I'm talking about all this, environmentally, these off-gassing compounds are endocrine disruptors in itself.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So they're affecting our testosterone.
So where we're spending a vast majority of our life
exactly
in close proximity can be this negative health catalyst.
Get an air purifier, man. Some folks are going into building, newly constructed building. Yeah. That's my thing with newly constructed units or homes or office buildings. They're off-gassing. This is all new materials, right? So
it's still breaking in. Everything's breaking in.
Yeah. So you got to make sure you have a good quality air filter. You put it in your home, you put it in your office, and you can get a little one in the office. And there you go. Like that's already doing half the job. But make sure you're outside a lot too. Yeah. Whether even if it's cold outside, make sure you're getting outside. Open your windows. You know, and even when I was living in New Jersey, I opened up all my windows.
Even in New Jersey.
Even in New Jersey, even in that cold, but it's important to get that airflow.
Yeah.
So again, hormones. Think about the food we eat, the stuff we're putting, like when we take a shower, the lotion after, the soap, the conditioner, the shampoo.
Yeah.
All those have chemicals that can be endocrine disruptors too.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of women. Makeup is a big thing they don't want to hear.
I bet. Yeah.
Heavy metals.
Mm-hmm.
Again, endocrine disruptors. We have to look at things as a whole, because the way medicine was, and still is for people who practice it like old school, is that we're just looking at you, not the outside of you, not your relationships with the people you care about or the people you don't care about, and then the living environment of home or office or wherever you spend your most amount of your time. We don't think about those things. We just think about you as a machine, and then once there's a part of the machine that is off, I bring you to the specialist for that part that's off. They give you something to put a Band-Aid on it, and then you go back and go about your life without ever wondering, why is that piece off, right? And because there shouldn't be specialists. There should be someone who looks at the whole body.
That's so this is really odd, weird timing. Last night, my wife came home. She's in clinicals right now, and she said, I've been kind of slow, was sitting all day. You want to go for a walk? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I didn't work out today. Let's go for a walk. So we just went a walk through downtown, and she was talking about how she's currently working in a clinical with an osteopath physician, but it's a family medicine clinic. And she was like, I've never seen a DO, a doctor of osteopathy, so focused. Like, he starts, treats everything, acts, looking internally, looking at the spine. And she goes, with DOs, I had no idea it was so much all focus on just, the osteo. And I feel almost embarrassed to say this out loud. I never once thought, it never hit me that doctor of osteopathy, osteo, root medical terminology here, is the bones and the spine. And then she went into kind of really, I really admire his model to family medicine, but it was interesting because to kind of get into like more like the educational system here, what we're talking about of health and wellness, and people like you who go through it and people like me who go through it and varying degrees, how the model he went in and studied, his DO school, he then was assigned to a different set of boards that was pretty much an MD board. And then he's went to DO school, took MD board, sort of, kind of. I may be butchering the story a little bit, but based upon where you go for your residency and stuff, you get assigned a different board. And I said, well, I've worked with DOs, I've worked with MDs, like I know naturopathic physicians, I know DOs. And then basically, I'm butchering the story, but we got to the conclusion at the end about how, why isn't there just, like, because with MDs, the medical model, it's a medical model. You're looking at what's the problem, here's a medicine to solve it. Osteopathy, hey, what's going on with the spine, the bones, let's look at, this adjustment to solve it. NPs, what's a natural, all-inclusive approach? Why don't we have an MD-DO NP program? Why isn't there this? And secondary question is, why NP for you?
Yeah, wow. So because of ego, that's why. Because of the egos of these organizations.
We also said that too. I was going to leave that out. I was like, because MDs think they're gods.
Yeah, and they're certainly not. I mean, and this doesn't go to say, like, look, I go across the street, a car hits me, I need you to take me to the hospital.
Sure.
My leg's falling off.
I got you, dude.
I need the best emergency care doctor, whether it's DO, MD, whoever it is, to fix my leg. The conventional medical model has such an awesome place when it comes to emergent medicine. Yeah. Right? Things that we need right now on the surface. Acute care. It does a really shitty job of everything else. That's it. Like, they do a horrible job for prevention.
I agree.
Horrible. And we're still using old medicines that are doing not too much. And then when they're developing, they're still doing the same idea of putting Band-Aids. Yeah. Right?
Often causing new problems.
Yeah, often, again, that's the other side of it, right? Often then you get a new medication for another issue that you have. I don't want to bash that, but I do want to bring to light that we need integrative medicine. We need specialties to take over. Like, I would never say, let me fix your leg that you broke. Let me give you some sort of surgery. That's not my place. Nor is it the place of a doctor to say, hey, let's prevent this for you, right? Let's get to the root cause.
You broke your leg. Let's talk about how you could improve bone health.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, doc, I'm broken now.
Exactly. Like, okay, well, why did your leg break when you went for a layup?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, most people don't break their legs on a layup. Like, we have to look at the big picture. That's an issue with me because of the ego. Fortunately, at least in LA, there's a lot more open-minded practitioners. There's a lot more integrative medicine. See, if I'm a consumer of medicine and I know, look, I have this autoimmune disease and I'm in pain. Okay, I need my medical doctor to give me a script for this pain because it's unbearable.
Yeah.
But I also need, let's say, my naturopathic doctor to start investigating what is going on. Why do I have autoimmune disease? Am I exposed to something every day? Do I have high amounts of heavy metals? Is my gut dysfunction at an all-time worst? You know, dysbiosis. What is my relationship to me and everything else? I need acupuncture because to complement for that pain, right? I need a nurse practitioner overseeing everything so it goes well, right?
Yeah. Should we just open up our own clinic altogether?
I know, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I need health coach to make sure that every single day I'm on it.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not going to be on me. I need someone to
weave in the behavior change and the health psychology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So integrative medicine for me is the way that medicine should be done. It has to be, because each model alone, I don't think works completely in itself. Right? Again, I said we need the acute care. Yeah. Right. We need to get to the root cause care.
They all do what they do very well, I think, but there's a lot of need. There's an overlap of negligence almost, I think, if you're really being honest.
Yeah, and we have, look, a conventional doctor gets 23.9 hours of nutrition in their whole teachings. Yeah. In 4 years of school, and their whole curriculum, that's on average.
Yeah, and I heard, isn't MD school typically, nutrition is an elective?
Is it? Yeah. So
in a lot of programs.
So imagine not getting even a day's worth of nutrition. That's a big problem because we know how important nutrition is as a foundation of health, along with sleep and movement and stress control and all those things. But how do the people we look for not give us information? Okay, so we have dietitians. Dietitians are great because they're really good and evidence-based. The problem with a lot of dietitians is that a lot of their evidence-based information is coming from the industry. So I hear dietitians, it drives me crazy when they're recommending cups of milk for kids or a bunch of dairy and cheese because we need to get our calcium, knowing that calcium
I butted heads so hard in grad school with this one really strenuous nutrition class. It was an RD who taught it. Like, no harm, no foul against her, but it was just like the whole time she would be saying things and guidelines. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I got into it, a few heated debates.
Yeah,
sometimes.
but it's true, and their whole dietitian industry needs to be pushed to having more objective research. They are awesome at reading studies, but from what I found, a lot of them are not awesome at going, okay, let me look further and be like, well, who sponsored this study? Because I'm over here recommending 3 glasses of milk for, my client's child, and the client's child is getting eczema every single day. Maybe we should remove the milk.
And over the years of looking more into studies, referencing them, looking at just, what's going on in the industry, that's really the only time I look at studies, or just something really cool came across my desk and I want to do a podcast about it. I'm a firm believer. I think this is the first time I'll publicly say that I think any study, typically studies are going to be quantitative. They're like, what are the numbers? What are we moving? I think every study should have a qualitative marker along with it. Yeah. Because when you look at okay, cool, we moved the needle from A to C, well, what actually happened to the person in between? What happened to their psyche? What happened to in changing that behavior and changing that medication and changing whatever, what stirred up in them? What about the emotional health, the psychological health? Sure, you might have technically cured something or solved a health problem, but what about the qualitative? How do they feel about it?
Well, that's the reason why I say, for me, studies this is my guide. I know that for safety and efficacy of what I'm doing, it's based on a study. That's it. It's literally a guide for me.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I care more about is if the patient comes in and goes, hey, Dr. G, I've been on this ashwagandha or this diet and I feel horrible. Everything's getting worse.
They feel bad on ashwagandha?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah, right? And that's just
I go to ashwagandha when I'm not feeling good.
Yeah. But then wait a minute, but all the studies say they should do this, this, and this.
Fair.
Right? But biologically we're so different. This is the individuality of all of us. So again, a study is not going to fit every single person, right? That's an important aspect of health that we need to understand. I think that this is where conventional medicine gets lost because that is their Bible.
Sure.
For me, it's like a guidebook. It ain't my Bible.
My Bible is point.
Exactly. My Bible is a person telling me their truth, because their truth is much more important than what I see in the conclusion of a study.
You got to be an N equals 1.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And it's always going to be like that, right? Just because broccoli sprouts worked on this person better than anyone. This person may just have a severe intolerance to it. Why am I pushing it?
And I think that's a good marker for anybody in the industry. Anyone who's listening, watching, like, oh, wow, like I'm going to try this because I heard Chase say it. Or I heard, this naturopathic physician say it. I heard any authority, even if it's just like an IG influencer, which is a whole other debacle of you got to be careful because when you have a platform, there's responsibility with that. Never take anything anyone says, even people with certifications and degrees like myself and yourself, as the truth. And anybody who does say, hey, every person needs to do this because it will yield this result,
that's be careful for
run
that.
away.
Yeah, run
or
away.
Just be extremely cautious.
Do you know at least once a month I always say, I say this is based on studies, based on clinically what I see. If this is not your truth, don't listen to me. I say it on my show. I'm giving you this information, but this is for everyone. This is for the mainstream. You may be outside of that bell curve.
Absolutely.
And your truth might be outside of it, right? Yeah. So just because we're pushing this and saying, look, it's the new thing for this, doesn't mean it's going to help you.
Absolutely.
So again, how do we get in touch with our bodies? Tie it back. We have those rituals, right? We do yoga in the morning. We do meditation in the morning. We do movement and body in the morning. We get in touch with our bodies. Then we go, oh, I actually felt different than I did in the morning. My energy is not flowing the way it was yesterday in the morning. Why? Did I sleep poorly? Was I angry all day yesterday? How did I deplete my energy? Well, how can I get it back? How can I start filling up my cup again, right?
Yeah. Trust but verify. Trust but verify with everything.
Right. So getting in touch with your body is important because when you're in touch with your body, whatever influencer is pushing whatever, and you try it out and you go, oh, hell no. Then you're right. You are the person who's able to discern what you want.
Absolutely. Great full circle conversation. I just want to say again, thank you for your time here and your expertise. Looking back, I honestly think that knowing the direction that my life would have gone, my profession would have gone, initially when I was getting out of the military, I was looking at a DO school. Shout out Virginia Tech. But I was just like, I just had a commitment to the time. I was like, I just don't want to commit to this much time. I was already like 24 and like technically starting over in life. And but I'm very happy with the route that I went, in undergrad and grad and work life experience and the health coach credential for me. Anybody listening who wants to kind of maybe get their feet wet in a lot of the things we've been talking about, I can't recommend. I went through the ACE Certified Health Coach curriculum, the American Council on Exercise. IIN is very great. Or if you want to go full-blown into the medical field like yourself, I really like the DO, I like the NP. And honestly, those are people that I look for now when I'm going to get medical care. Because I feel at least they're going to have a higher probability, you are going to have a higher probability of being able to have conversations like this. And honestly, just what I think most people are looking for when they go to the doctor, whether it's for an acute or chronic issue or just a regular checkup, is they just want to be heard. Yeah. They just want to be heard.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. Sitting, and how can you be heard if you have 12 minutes in there at maximum?
And 11 of them are sharing your entire medical history again because they haven't looked at you, they didn't have time, or it's a new doctor.
Right. So you understand. Yeah. That's what I love about naturopathic doctors is that we set like 45 minutes, 1 hour, an hour and 15 minutes and more to hear the patient. Every single one of my cancer patients that came in.
Yeah, do you still see patients?
Not anymore. Okay. But what I did with these patients is I spoke about all their physicals, their full history, just like they would get, they'd write out. Yeah. But we went into everything. But I always listen to say, all right, what's going on the inside, right? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, not just physical, right? Because if someone's manifesting with cancer, it's not just a physical disease. It can be a lifetime's worth of trauma. Yeah. Or one moment of trauma that we held in and never released or never wanted to work on or never even wanted to face. So getting to the root, remember I said root cause? A lot of these physical symptoms are just end-stage manifestations of something that's bubbling under mentally, emotionally, spiritually, trauma-wise, all these things that we are not addressing. So we need more of that. We need experts to do that. That's why conventional medical, it won't work fully, especially in the context of cancer. It doesn't work fully. Most people come back with cancer who have cancer.
Unfortunately,
and then they pass away with an aggressive cancer. We need a full team of experts to do what they do best. Yeah. And I can't push it enough. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I talk about all the time is integrating all of our expertise and being a happy family instead of egoic. Yeah.
We're not all here to stay separate. We're here, I don't think anybody really gets into this type of profession for themselves. I mean, again, maybe some of the more ego-driven, look at me, look at my accolade kind of thing. But bottom line is, Like, do no harm. Bottom line is treat others, help others, heal thyself.
Yeah, heal
Absolutely.
thyself. Doing all these things.
And I'm really, really excited. I'll give my wife a lot of praise here. The whole point of her taking a pause in the nursing career and going into NP stuff is like our long-term goal here in the next 2-3 years, when she graduates this year, is to open up a family medicine practice to do just this.
Nice.
To bring all this together.
Yeah.
And I'll contribute, of course, what I can. A lot of my other life is going in a lot of different directions, but like the wellness side of things, the physical activity, the sleep, the nutrition, like health coach Chase, with NP May, really bringing this holistic model together. And plus, we can't think of a better place to do it here.
Bring a functional doctor, a naturopathic doctor on there. You guys can all run labs, look at each other. That's what I'm saying. Like those models, you're going to be able to implement the way you see everything, right?
And what's worked for us too, huge years of anecdotal experience.
Okay,
in going through this.
Yeah, she's going to be able to do her expertise. Then you have labs and working all together, man. That's how it should be, because whatever a person's coming in, they're going to be assured much better care than if they're going to an urgent care.
Do you know Dr. Jade Tita?
Yeah, he was just on my show.
Love that guy.
He's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So he's an old school naturopathic.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while.
Dr. Jade.
But I'd urge all the listeners and viewers to listen to his stuff, man. He's a wizard.
Metabolic effect, next level human.
Level human. Because you want to know why? He's not only talking about metabolism and the physical stuff like sleep, movement, exercise, the food we eat, but he's also talking about the stuff we're talking about, mindset, right? Forgiveness.
Relationships. With yourself.
Hell yeah. And Jay's got the right idea, because that's how it should be comprehensively.
Yeah.
So he's the man. I can't say higher praise for him.
He is the man. Kind of getting towards the end here. Actually, I had one other question in mind, one other topic I wanted to circle back to. You talked about in your morning ritual, infusing your day, kickstarting your day with music. Depending on how you feel, you kind of find the music to fit the mood. And I've dove into, over the years, kind of like the science behind, like, why does some music just get us hype? Why does some bring us down? How is it that I know, based upon how I feel, the tone, the rhythm, the beats per minute of a song that I'm looking for, and what just aligns with me? Music, whether it's a morning ritual, winding down, in the evening, getting me hype. Music has been probably one of the most powerhouse additives to my productivity ritual, I'll say. There are maybe 3 to 5 songs that I will scroll through and select and just put on a loop. When I just want to sit down, whether I'm reading or I'm writing or I'm working, and I just want no interruptions. I just want to get in the groove, get in the flow, and I put it on a loop. And it literally, like I said, I've done the research, and I know that it actually synchronizes, with my rhythm, my heart rate, my biochemistry, the electromagnetism, all this stuff. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
Just your area of expertise in music and how it can really literally set the tone.
It's funny you say that. Friday's show is going to be on music therapy.
Oh, no way. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's perfect.
Because I saw that IGTV about the binaural beats with reducing anxiety for people going in for medical treatments. And I was like, I want to bring this up.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the first part of it. And I was like, on that show, I was like, I'm going to do a music one too.
Okay, cool.
So that was just beats. But basically what it all is vibration, right?
Energy.
We are
energy. We're just energy.
We are just energy. We function at different vibrations all the time, right? Based on emotions, even based on the way we slept, right?
Yeah.
Like, you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, God, I'm dragging. My vibe is low. Or you wake up really good, but you have something holding you back, like you're really pissed off about something. Your vibration.
Or stressed about the upcoming day.
Stressed about the upcoming day. Your vibration is going. So the beautiful thing about music is that it resonates. Music is vibration. That's what we hear, right? Otherwise, there'd be no such thing as music, right? It's literally that vibration is transduced into electric signals in our ears, into our brain.
Through a bone
in our ear. It's a pretty crazy mechanism. If we think
we don't actually hear it. It's just energy waves going through our bone. It gets transmitted.
So I always think about just a little side topic is, if a tree falls, if in the woods, do we hear it? Yeah. The answer is no if we're not there. If we're not observing it, we won't hear it. If there's no observer of the tree falling, there's no such thing as a tree falling, because it doesn't make a sound. Or it doesn't make a sound. It won't make a sound, because those so impulses, those ripples will never be transduced. So it doesn't make a sound.
There's no one to receive that.
There's no one to receive it. So we need a receiver to the object. So, and this is like quantum physics now, but music in itself is that tree falling, is that vibrational impulse. We get those sound waves. We feel it, and it resonates. Now, according to that resonant or that frequency, it resonates in a particular way. Okay. So that's why if I'm feeling like crap and I put on 3 of my favorite songs, uplifting songs, like you just feel better. You just feel better, and it all has to do with how it shifts your vibration.
If you want to feel better, get anything above like 100 beats per minute.
100 beats per minute.
Yeah.
You got to get
raise
something.
your heart rate.
Yeah, exactly. To calm you down, conversely, listen to an acoustic song or listen to something really mellow, melodramatic, right? Whatever it is.
Moody AF
playlist. Make one of those.
They have them on Spotify already.
They do already. Why wouldn't they? But the beautiful thing about, for me, with music, and again, not everyone connects with music. And actually, I was reading, there was a new study that came out that there's different parts of the brain for folks that are more developed who love music.
Interesting.
Right? So we receive music better, literally better. Yeah. We hear the tones a little bit sharper than people who don't. And I've met people, they're like, oh, I love music, but not like you. You're like a weirdo. You really love music. And I'm not even a musician.
Yeah.
But so it's for those folks, if music really affects you, let it be part of your life then, right?
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm getting in the mood and I want to do something artsy, I'll put on Moody AF playlist and I'll get really melodramatic and I'm like, all right, I'm going to make a really dramatic painting right now, or
be inspired.
Yeah, or be inspired. Or if I know I'm going to do an amazing talk and I got to get pumped up, like this is stuff that we just know intuitively. But now we understanding that there's more science behind it. It has to do with just vibration and frequency and the way it affects our biochemical change. You mentioned the beats, the heart rate beating. That's just our physiology reacting to that change in vibration.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, which is why when I actually have several playlists on my Spotify account, if I remember, I'll put them down in the show notes, and they're titled to kind of match a mood. Not kind
Perfect.
of, they are.
Perfect.
It's like, I call it boots and pants. It's like boots and pants and high beat energy.
Okay.
And when I kind of like get upbeat, I have like mood music. I have chill, brain food, all these different things. So like I can just really tangibly align the mood or the point, the purpose of the task before me, and kind of synchronize music to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Classical music when I'm doing work is like, I feel like every part of my brain is lighting up at the same time. It's pretty incredible, but there is soundtracks to the things that I do.
Yeah.
And if you love music, I would submit that you try that out. Just try it out. And if you don't love music, find what works for you, right?
N equals 1 again.
N equals 1, exactly. You may want something else.
Yeah.
You may just tap your feet on the ground and that's your music and you're like, oh, it raises my vibe. But
I'm the best musician ever.
I'm the best musician ever. It's just different for everyone. But it seems to me that our truth has to do a lot of what music and how powerful it is for us.
And actually, you just made an interesting point about how some people are maybe wired differently to receive music in different ways, higher, lower levels, kind of going back to the theme of epigenetics with a lot of things. Just, we are who we are today, but also we come with a lot of genetic DNA baggage.
Yeah.
We come with the good, the bad, and the ugly of our forefathers and foremothers and all that stuff. And it's interesting to me, music has always been, and still to this day, is something I do for fun, to chill out, something that helps me focus, something that is a part of multiple aspects of my day, that I contribute a lot to my success, a lot of my joy as well. And I've always grown up with music.
Yeah.
My family, huge into music. My dad, hell, in the 80s, like he was a roadie for a lot of like classic. He was a roadie for REO Speedwagon, Blue Oyster Cult.
I know all of them.
Huge Motley Crue fan. So I grew up with I'm sure in the womb I was probably like, my dad was jamming out to like, Motley Crue or something. And so
but now think of epigenetically how maybe your dad's dad was not into music, but how epigenetically his brain changed based on the stimulus of music day to day and your mom's stimulus day to day. And then those epigenetics, right, being passed on to you, you coming out into a world where your body understands that music is a big part of the world.
Yeah.
Right? So you come out to a world and your brain is already predisposed to take in music even better than your mom and your dad's. It's literally, we are preparing our children for the world. That's
almost
basically
like
what it is.
We have the power now, if you really think about it, to create habits that can contribute to our health and wellness and our productivity and success. But also, if you don't already have children, I may be putting the cart before the horse here, but the things that you do to change your thought processes, your health, your wellness, your physiological being long enough, and then introduce a child into the world, you're passing all of that behavior traits and things down, and you can decide what, in a way, the next generation is going to do, how they're going to think, how
that's
they're going to feel.
That's what I tell folks who are ready to have kids. I say, get yourselves right. Not only physically, you got to get yourselves right, because you are passing those genes. We know, I did a whole show on transgenerational trauma.
Wow.
Like, you can pass on very specific genetic changes to your child that creates a basically an environment in their body where they can't handle cortisol as well as they should be, just by those genetic changes being passed on to your kids. In nematodes, we see that passed on to 19 generations.
No way.
Passed on, yeah. So again,
one generational disruptor passed on to 19 others after that.
There's genetic changes in Holocaust survivors, grandchildren, or people who are alive now who have a lineage in the Holocaust.
Oh my gosh.
There's generational changes on there. So imagine that's just like anxiety, depression, all of those really acute traumas. But now think of like all the other things, everything that has to do with us coming into a world of music.
Yeah.
Right. That's why like kids. I know. Look, my dad was a professional dancer. My mom was a dancer. So I came into a world of music, of movement. Right. So I can't dance 1% of how good they are, but there's still something there.
You picked up a carrier trait,
yeah,
we'll say. The music, not the dance.
Again, it's nature and nurture. You get both. Mm-hmm. You get both. So you want kids, you get yourself right physically, you get yourself right mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then bring a kid into this world, and then think how you want to influence them.
In a way, you're hopefully setting yourself up for more parenting success, because if you can take care of yourself now in as many ways as possible, you're going to bring a child into this world that ideally will be, in a better place. You're setting that child up for success in a lot of ways. I mean, parenting is hard enough as it is. I can only imagine. I'm not there yet, but imagine if you can kind of like do this proactive work.
Yeah, and that's conscious parenting, man.
Yeah.
That's conscious parenting, knowing how you want to bring in a kid in here, what you want to instill in them.
Yeah.
We have this cycle in the world. Much of the world is the way it is because none of us have any self-love for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So then we can't self-love ourselves. We can't give love to another. And then we bring a kid out into this world, right, that's taught the same exact habits, and it's perpetuated through life. Literally, you want to get yourself right physically, get with all these doctors that we talked about, but do you love yourself before you have a kid?
Absolutely.
Ask yourself that question. And if you don't, you got work to do. Yeah. And if you're doing the work, then bring in the kid.
Yeah, like I've said a lot in my content is, I think at the end of the day, that's really the solution we're all after, whether we recognize it at first or not, is we're seeking self-love. And you can't love somebody, you can't love yourself. Think about all the people that you love in your life, right? It's because you truly, honestly know them. You know your mom, you know your brother, you know your best friend, you know your professor in college. It's you know someone, therefore you love them. And you can't love yourself if you don't first know yourself. So if you want to love thyself, get to know thyself. Mm-hmm. And in that process, you can heal thyself.
Exactly. Yeah, man, that's perfect. And that's the best point that I've heard in a long time. You literally by default love someone because you know them so well, but you don't know yourself. You don't even know yourself. And by knowing yourself, I'm talking about like, what do I want today? What do I feel today? What do I feel about this situation? What does my intuition tell me? Am I honoring my body? Am I honoring my soul? Right? Do I want to dance today, or do I want to, just get some sun? Yeah. Do I want to really be productive, or, oh my God, my body's saying just relax today? Mm-hmm. Are we honoring ourselves? Because that's the first way to know ourselves is if we're honoring those impulses and those signals in our body.
Which can all come from introducing great new morning rituals, evening rituals. Make time to not only improve yourself, but get to know yourself. Like add 30 seconds to, a couple hours, as much or as little as you need to get to know yourself. And in that process, you carve out your best routine ever. You carve out your best day ever, your best life ever.
And some of the most beautiful things you can see in a man and a woman is somebody who knows themselves and is expressing it unapologetically. Yeah. Because it's those people where you're like, that person is fucking weird. But then you're like, but I'm drawn to them. You're drawn to them because they are reminding you of your potential.
You're describing at least every other person I've met in LA so far.
Oh, yeah. We're all weird. That dinner we went to, everyone was weird. I was sitting next to the three weirdest people, but you know what? They know themselves. Yeah. And by that, they're doing so much better in the world because they're at a vibration where they're able to create based on knowing yourself. And when you're creating from that vibration, I promise you there is not anything you cannot do. It is pretty incredible how people just fire blaze everything when you know who you are. And that's a real power dinner when you talk about it. Powerful people, man.
Not to mention the food at Belcampo is just top marks.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I was the only vegan there.
Oh, no way.
So I was but it was good. It was good. It was.
They
funny.
had options, right?
Yeah, they did. They did. When I
shout out Anya.
Yeah, shout out Anya. Yeah, she made it. So like I had my own spread, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. But yeah,
so good. The sprouts were so good.
But I'll tell you one thing. If I did eat meat, that'd be the place I go because it's everything is just like quality source, man. And that's what I tell patients. I'm like, okay, like you are you're paleo, you are so focused on this. Let's make sure you get the best. You have to get the best.
Awesome, man.
There's no way around it.
Yeah. Well, kind of what you just said, I feel like could be the answer to my final question. I ask everybody, my show, Ever Forward Radio, it's our brand, our message, our mantra. It was a life lesson passed on to me from my late father. And it just became my belief system. The obstacles, the way, the barrier before you actually is presenting the most unique, unasked for gift in the world to, bring heightened attention, awareness to our fitness, nutrition, mindset to help us live a life ever forward. What does that mean to you? How do you live a life ever forward?
Ever forward? What you said was very powerful, actually, like understanding that whatever obstacle is in front of you. I think my ever forward is truly having the choice between love and fear, between everything. Every person I meet, every circumstance that comes in front of me, everything that I see, right? Every place I am, I can always act in a certain vibration. And that's the crazy part. We always have the ever forward choice, right? If I get a flat tire on the way to the biggest interview, I can react in fear, like, oh, I'm gonna lose this job, everything's wrong. Or I can react in love and be like, I'm grateful for this. For some crazy reason, I feel love for this situation, right? You can have a coworker. God, I hate this person, man. They are on my nerves every day. I cannot stand the way they chew their food even. Or you can be like, I'm blessed for this opportunity to even be pushed to understand that I have some things within me that need healing based on what this person is aggravating in me. Wow. That's ever forward, like moving ever forward enough to be like, I have an understanding that I have a choice between love and fear every single day, every situation. That's the most wild thing, when you can totally move your life based on that. Yeah. Because if you're always choosing love, I promise you it is impossible to not be happy, to not be fulfilled, to not be living in joy, to not be living in gratitude. If you are always in love, man, it is game changing. Yeah.
And like we said earlier, if you want to get to that point of being in position to choose love, well, you need to know that, right? You need to know what that looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, what it smells like, what it tastes like. You need to know you.
Yeah. Yeah. You literally like, what am I doing honoring myself, right? Because the biggest love you can give to anything in the world is first to yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, so like you're like, oh man, what does this avatar Christian want to do in this life? I think that I'm doing part of it business wise because it's working and I'm doing it well and I love it. Ask yourself, what are you doing? Are you aligned with what your deep down inside wants? Because everybody knows deep down inside what we want, right? We sometimes we don't vocalize it, but we know it. How do we get in touch with it? Take that time to ourselves.
Absolutely. Perfect, man. Well, Dr. G, it's been a pleasure connecting with you, man. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise. I'll have all of your information, of course, listed down in the show notes for everybody to check out. Your show, Heal Thyself.
Heal Thyself.
Coming up on your 1 year. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah. 1 year, and we are changing lives, man. And this is just like you are. We were doing some powerful stuff. I can't be more grateful for everyone behind that show. And, check it out, Heal Thyself. Instagram, doctor.g. That's where I put a lot of these clips from the show anyway on there, so you can just learn literally every caption. I put so a lot.
Super helpful, super like very tangible. Like, this is the topic, this is the background, this is the history, this is the anecdotal, this is the everything, and then here's the takeaway.
And here what you could do literally the next day or that day. Go to the supermarket and purchase differently because of one thing. And that's what I'm looking to do in this world. So
awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Man.